What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Unique Podcast. I'm your host, Janae Egeria. Whoa. Like, and today, y'all, I'm just, as I say every episode, I'll just be excited. All of my friends are just doing big things. I'm so proud. And today, we're talking to a legend, guys, today. We're talking to a legend in the making. We're talking to the Asian Marie. Everybody claps, scissors, claps, scissors, claps. Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? I'm
I'm
happy
good.
that you're here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I know you have a lot of stuff going on, so I do appreciate you taking some time out to come and visit us today and talk to us so we can get to know you a lot more. Because if you know her, you know that she's big personality. You're gonna laugh. You're going to hear her for sure. Whether she's on stage or
Just
off stage,
loud.
you're gonna hear her, but we need that. Yeah, that's what keeps us going. So I definitely wanted you to come on so people can know who you are, where you from, where all this electric energy is coming from. So take me back to the beginning. You're from Pasadena, right?
I am
Originally?
from Pasadena, California, the city of roses in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I born and raised here, yes. Um it started, I guess. First off, thank you for having me. I love you so much. And I
Love
love what
you.
you're doing.
Yes, of
All right, that
course.
was off. I love what you're doing. And anytime you call, baby, I'm gonna answer, okay?
Yes, thank you. Love you.
But I started singing probably when I was like 3. My mom said when I was like 3 or 4, I used to watch Fantasia, that Fantasia movie.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
and I used to like set up all of my dolls, like, in like an
Oh.
orchestral setup, kind of like a half
Made your own
circle.
audience.
Exactly. And well, I would make an orchestra and then I would
Oh,
stand up on the couch, and as the movie was going, I would conduct like
wow.
so yeah, I kind of just started singing along, with the songs. But she put me in piano when I was 5. And I took lessons from like 5 to 16, and then I got really lazy and I just quit. I got really lazy, girl. I was tired. Sorry, Miss Marriage. That was my teacher's name. Um,
Mm.
but I was a terrible student at the end.
So do you have like do you have siblings like they sing or your mom sings or where did
Um,
the music bug come from?
the music bug really, really, really came from my grandfather.
Mm.
He played the saxophone. I've actually never heard him play, but he was, really into like jazz and stuff like that.
Mm.
And then my mother, you know, I always saw her singing in choirs and stuff like that in church. She also sang with this other group. His name was Alex, who was her choir director.
Mm.
And then my dad, he doesn't sing, but he's very musically inclined. So
Okay.
like D'Angelo and Erica Badu and all the neo soul, all
Mm.
that came from my dad's side. My mom
Okay.
gave me the classical, learned how to play Fairy Elise and Moonlight
Mm.
Sonata, all this
Mm.
beautiful. But she also played the violin too. So
Oh, okay. So
yeah, so
you
there's music was
trained.
floating in there,
Yeah.
in and out. But my papa, John Williams, kicked that thing off.
Okay. And he was originally from California as well.
No, he's from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh, see, that's all I'm like. So the roots is all
Mhm.
up in there, Louisiana,
Rich, it's all up in the
Louisiana.
baby.
But it sounded like you had a variety of different types of music and people you were listening to. So who were those like people that influenced you early that you were listening to? Like, I'm actually gonna study or keep listening to that.
Everybody says it, but it's because it's just the truth of it all. Michael Jackson
Mm-hmm.
was the very first voice that really caught my ear. Even though my name is only 3 letters, I learned how to spell his name before I knew how to spell my name. Like, I remember being in the living room, I was like, Michael. I was like, yeah, baby. But Michael Jackson, Prince, um, it was. it was the Jackson 5, particularly the Christmas album. And
Mm, mm-hmm,
on the vinyl, I remember listening to that every Christmas. We would always have that thing spinning.
mm-hmm,
Just stuff like that, that I was growing up with, but where my ear and my soul and my ear were, arrested is Jill Scott, who
mm.
Scott Volume 1.
See, that's where we connect because that is my favorite artist of ever. Like
Ever.
all around, but then it makes sense because she's versatile too. Like
Yes,
you
yes.
watch her singing opera type, classical,
Yeah.
R&B. She's like you never know what you're gonna get, and you
She's
definitely are the
such a
same.
studied human. Like
Mhm.
she's just there, there are things that she can, speak, to and from, places of where it's just like, how do you even, what do you
Right.
know about that lady?
It just flows. It just
Yes,
flows.
it
And
does.
that's definitely how you are when you're on stage. It just flow. Yeah, you can just tell that like from the first time I've seen you perform. We met like through mutual friends,
Hmm.
but when I first seen you perform, I'm like, you literally just don't know what you're gonna get. And I've seen you perform many times, and I'm like, each time if you think you're gonna get the same show that you got the last time, you just have to think again because you just don't know. You just don't know where you're gonna go, and I think that that is just so like it just makes people want to just come more and more and more. So we'll talk
Thank,
about that later. You
thank you very
perform.
much. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
girl.
we get there.
And so you was listening to all these people. So did you grow up in church as well, or is that something that came later on?
I grew up in church, and then there was a moment where I wasn't in church, and then I came back. So,
Mm,
growing up, I mostly attended church with my mother, at First AME, Pasadena.
mm,
Um, and occasionally I would go to Victory Bible Church with my dad,
mm,
occasionally when I was younger.
mm,
But that kind of stopped probably around like my sophomore, junior year of high school.
mm.
Um, and then I got back into church probably 2012-ish. So
Okay.
probably a good 7 year gap, I think. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, that's definitely an influence, a huge influence, behind what I do.
Yeah,
Um, I
of
think,
course.
yeah, I think that the different experience that you're, talking about is, because I sort of model what I do after worship leading. I was a worship leader before anything, and I still
Hmm.
am a worship leader.
Hmm.
It's just on the outside of the four walls.
Right.
So I often ask the Lord, like, I don't, I could definitely do better, and ask him every time, and not trying to take the reins completely, but
Hmm.
I often ask him to involve himself directly, in my shows. So,
Hmm.
because you never know who showed up and why, and I never want him to not be what's felt in the room. So,
Right, of course.
yeah.
And so when you were in school, like middle school, high school, like were you the type of person that was always just like out, like always wanted to sing? Like were you in chorus, theater, or
You
were you
know,
kind of shy? Like I don't want nobody to know I can sing. Like
no, I was not that girl. I was singing
mm,
for eighth grade graduations and high school and senior graduations and
mm,
any other little event that I could. I wasn't in, choir or anything like that. We didn't really have that at my high school in the prime, years that I
mm.
was there. The choir actually ended up being established at my high school my senior year.
Okay.
And I just wasn't interested. It's,
Mm.
you know, music, it was, always who I was. I was always loving, the singing life, but I was focused on, being a veterinarian.
Oh,
That
that's what you originally wanted to be a veterinarian?
that is what I wanted, baby. When I say my everybody's TV was on BT and, Disney Channel. Mine was there occasionally. But
Mm.
I was on Animal Planet, Channel 76. Thank you. Charter Communications. Thank you. Okay.
Watching
That's
the
where my
Predator
focus was.
and
Yes.
all of that.
Watching all that.
Animal
Okay. The
Kingdom.
little animal ER.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, you was
Listen.
concerned about the animals.
I'm still, listen, if you can hear in the background, my dog is lapping up water. I'm just
Yeah.
always concerned about the animals. But no, yeah, So I didn't really actually get involved with music until after I had my son, you know.
Mm-hmm. And when
Um,
was that? How old were you when you had your son?
I was 20 when I had my
Okay.
son. I
Mm-hmm.
went away to college to Colorado State University for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to drink really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Well, I won't be coming back here next year, will I?"
And so when you had your son, that's when you was like, okay, I want to take on singing or
Yeah,
doing my
it
degree
kind of was just
seriously.
like, I hadn't been working, It
Mm-hmm.
was I think my son was about 5. I was working for Wells Fargo at the time and I hated it and I quit my job.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, I got to make it work somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So music is just gonna have to be what it is because it's the only thing that I can do without getting tired.
Right.
'Cause even with veterinary work, like I loved it, but I don't,
You
do I
get
want to go see
bored.
this pig every day?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I just
Yeah,
don't.
because well, that's one of the things that I speak about on the podcast because a lot of artists and people who are interested in going into that field watch. And I don't think that sometimes they realize it's always a sacrifice somewhere.
Yeah,
Like it's always it's either you go put your all into this area or like you can try to do half because I was one of those people that try to do half and half and it never works. Like when
mhm,
you try to like they, oh, you just gotta work, do your 9 to 5 till you don't have to do your 9 to 5 no more. And then you can go do this area, but this area lacks because you have to do the 9 to 5. Then after I get off of work, I'm tired.
yeah,
I don't even have enough energy to put my all into this area. Or when someone is calling you to do a photo shoot or to do a studio session, and that starts at 9, or they want you to be there all day, then
yeah,
you're back in that middle of, okay, do I go to my regular life or do I take this opportunity that I
honey.
probably won't get again? So I guess what I want to know is, or if you can speak to that person that's interested in like, okay, it's hard for me to choose between what I actually love to do, what I dream about, and what I feel like I have to do. Um, like what encouragement could you give that person that's stuck in that middle area if you
You
have it?
know, um, I'm a very radical person. And this is a trust fall.
Mm-hmm.
This is a do you want it? Because especially in this industry, I think where a lot of people misunderstand what we do is, the comfort of having the 9 to 5 and
Yeah.
understanding that all I got to do is show up and the check is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, yes, it's kind of the same thing. You got to show up to your jobs and the check will be there eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, sometimes you got a net 30, next 60, net 90. You don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna get there too.
But what it is you're showing up to the 95, 9 to 5 because the job was already there. You are your scout every day. So you
Mm-hmm.
gotta have some sort of ambition.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have drive and ambition and that, like, don't even play with yourself because you're gonna hurt your own feelings. You're gonna hurt your own
Mm-hmm.
feelings. You're gonna hurt the wellness of your pockets. This is just not the industry for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's just to say that straight out.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news is, if that is who you are, this trust fall is so worth it. You just have to decide, do I want this 9 to 5 or do I want a full-time job in music? And I would implore maybe, weaning yourself off, going from, a Monday through Friday to a Thursday through Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try a Sunday through Wednesday, leave your weekends open. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's an adjustment that can be made, but you're gonna have to be the one that picks up the slack on the other end.
Yeah.
And the silver lining in it is I'm proof that it works. I don't just say it because I'm in a position like, oh, I'm finally like gigging, I got the music degree on the wall, like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No. I'm saying that because I was really in a space where I didn't have it.
Right.
And I said, music, like Wells Fargo, goodbye. This is it. And it took me
Mm-hmm.
a couple years to get it off the ground, but
Mm-hmm.
it's worth it. You just gotta, you just gotta keep going. You have to keep going.
Yes, and is that when you're like you said you took a gap of like you really wasn't going to church and stuff like that, but
No.
is that when your relationship with God kind of came back together because you had no choice but to put your all in like your faith in God, like Lord, you just got to help me figure it out. Was that the thing?
When I took the trust fall is when I got back into church.
Hmm.
I ran into, ended up going back to Victory Bible Church and with Bishop White and Pastor John DeCure and Pastor Tanya DeCure. And particularly Pastor Tanya and Pastor John really helped me shape what it means to um, dedicate your works unto the Lord and your plans will be established.
Hmm.
Proverbs 16:3. And really it's just the principle and the idea of anything that you want, as long as you involve him in it, will fly and will work, because that's just who God is and that's who he ordained us to be. And who
Right.
we're called to be is who we really dream to be. What we really want to be deep down inside, who we've imagined to be, is actually who we're supposed to be. And it's scary sometimes to get there, but if you involve him, you will get there. So it was at the point, it was after the stint when I wasn't going to church is when I learned how to drink with a will in Colorado.
Hmm.
When I got pregnant, you know what I'm saying, is when I went to jail, you know what I'm saying, after I got out, a couple years after I got out, 2 years after I got out is when I got back into church.
Hmm.
2014 is when I left Wells Fargo.
Mm. And that's
That,
not even like super long, super
understand?
long ago.
It was
Yeah.
just go, go,
Hmm.
go. Son born in 2009, jail 2010,
Hmm.
went back to church 2012, quit
Hmm.
December 3rd, 2014. And it's been
Hmm.
on go since. And that's
Yeah.
just how it's gonna continue to be. As long as I wake up and I still have that drive, it'll all work out.
Yeah.
As long as you have the drive to wake up and go work wherever you work, if it's Caltech, if it's McDonald's, if it's Starbucks, if it's here, if it's there, it's the same principle. I don't want y'all to hear, my admonishments and it seeming like I'm so out of touch with that place, because let me
Of
tell you,
course.
in this industry, it'll be moments where we making that bread, we getting booked. Woo, flying, residuals, boom, boom. And there are months when you don't hear a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It, it's it's so I really empathize. I don't just sympathize, I empathize.
Just do what you got to do at the end of the day.
Hmm.
Do what you
And
got
it'll
to
work
do. Either,
out.
either way is okay, but whatever works for you and whatever makes you happy at the end of the day. But know that what you dream about is possible. It is possible for you to flourish in what you love to do. As Asia said, she's a testimony that, you know, you can do what you love and actually, still live your life or
Yes.
whatever, that it'll always work out. So, you say you went to college, so you majored in music when you went to college?
Initially, when I went to Colorado State, I was a double major in animal science and equine science with a
Oh,
concentration on equine reproduction.
the fact that I've just heard that today, like I've never heard of that even being a major. I'm
Yeah, so
like,
I
"Oh,
wanted
what?
to I wanted to breed horses for the Kentucky Derby.
Oh,
Horses are my favorite animal. Like I used to ride horses growing up, like
wow.
yeah, like all types of stuff. But I came back home in 2008, and then I didn't go back to school until 2016. Um and when I went to APU in 2016 is when I majored in music. I was a music and worship major with an emphasis on vocal performance.
See, and that's when usually when you go to school and or you go to college and people major, they make it seem like music or theater or anything musically or whatever theatric, whatever those degrees, like don't go for those degrees because you ain't gonna get nowhere. You only gonna be a music teacher. You only go like don't go for those. Like it's what I was told when I went to college. Like
Yeah.
don't major in dance, don't major in music. So have those things like now that you're doing what you're doing now, like how much does your studying music, how much did that help you in where you are
Heavily.
today? Hmm.
Absolutely heavily, and it's going to continue to help me outside of the stage, like off the stage. There's a lot of different ideas that I have that I feel like if music were integrated, it would be absolutely astonishing and out of this world and something that the world needs.
Mhm.
Um, so no, I feel like I feel like that's the unfortunate thing sometimes about, counselors at certain institutions, right? Is that they don't dream what we dream. They can't see what we dream. You know what I'm saying? Even if we told them, what our dreams are, they can't see it for themselves.
Mhm.
So they don't have the mindset and the creativity to take, what you would, learn at an institution and apply it outside in the real world. They have no idea how far certain things can go, until the world sees how far it can go with it.
Mhm.
Oh, that yeah, don't worry about what people tell you what's not gonna fly at school, okay?
Mhm.
Because especially if I'm walking away with $50,000 in debt, it's gonna work somewhere. Yes, yeah. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
It better work for my good at some
It's gonna work for me. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Mhm.
So, so after you left there, is that when you started? So you started teaching at Biola. So that's how
Yeah.
you started teaching there.
I the probably like 6 months before I graduated, I was invited to Biola for the Gospel Fest.
Mm,
I was invited to be one of the artists for the bill. And after that, one of my friends who was actually the gospel choir director over there, her name is Nina Lockhart. She's amazing, very beautiful, studied musician.
mm,
Um, she called me and she was like, hey, I think I'm gonna, the Lord is calling me to do some other things in life, and I, want to know if you're interested in having the position. So I ended up working there a month before I graduated. Um, and I was there for I think about 4 years, maybe
mm.
three, almost 4 years.
Yeah,
Mm,
when I first met you, you were doing that, and that's why I thought I was like, "Oh, she went to Biola,"
mhm.
because that's where I seen you. And when I met you, you were still there.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
so that's interesting too, because you having to teach other people what what you know. So you really gotta know what you're talking about. So,
Yeah, you gotta know, or you gonna look crazy. Okay,
and they
and
gonna take like, hold on, ma'am, this
they'll let you know that's not right. That's not
like
right. That's
like
not
they
right.
say with the Bible, study to show yourself.
God bless you. Okay, okay. You better know what you're talking about because the babies know what they're talking about, and they're
Mhm.
they're
Yeah,
not there to waste their
so
time.
I do see in January of last year, you put out your first project. And if y'all haven't heard it, it's called Off My Chest,
Yes,
correct?
it is. Yes, it
Off My
is.
Chest, yes, which I'm not even going to my favorite songs. I can go into one. That's been my favorite song before, which was Bourbon. But if you haven't heard her project already, you guys, it's available everywhere. So make sure you still go support, stream, all of that. It's definitely, you could just play it from top to bottom. Just turn it on in your
That's
house, in the car, all of it top to bottom. And that's absolutely rare today where you could just play albums from top to bottom.
thank
So if I'm telling y'all it's top to bottom, just play from the beginning all the way to the end.
you.
But how
I
did how did you but how was that process? Like, okay, you going and you singing, doing live shows, and now you're like, okay, I'm about to do my own project. What was
that
that like?
it was very scary. So really, really stressful, but fun. Like
Mhm,
it was a great time making the music, and actually seeing what kind of musician that I am, what my sound is like. It's so strange, it's so foreign, but it was exciting to discover who I am. Um, but yeah, I just remember it was stressful because I think I'm just such a
perfection,
panic
you want
person and a
everything.
perfectionist, and
Mhm,
I just wanted to sound good and feel good, and oh my God, is anybody gonna love it? Like a little bit of imposter syndrome in there.
mhm.
And I have just been a veterinarian. Do I need to go back to Petco and like start from the bottom? I'll start, stocking the shelves now if so. But yeah, no, I think the pandemic really did a lot for me.
Mhm.
I mean, giving me the opportunity to really dive in.
Yeah.
music, so it was great.
Yeah, because of course, pandemic shut everything down.
Shut it all down.
So it was like you either bout it or you're going down.
So
It's
you're going down.
nothing it's nothing
That's
going
it.
on. So how were you even during the pandemic? Like being a musician, being a teacher, being a artist in the pandemic where it's like, okay, now I almost just have to do my own thing because there's nothing happening right now.
The pandemic was definitely a hard time for me, like it was for all of us. I definitely lost some people, lost some jobs, lost a little bit of sanity, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very relieved when the world just stopped. I I felt like in my life I needed just a break. Just hold on, hold on. You know what I'm saying? And wow, it was a very beautiful experience for me to not have to be able to go to actually be instructed to rest,
Yeah.
to be instructed to stay inside, to be instructed to stay inside and spend time with my son. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And friends and all that stuff. Still a very hard time, but I loved it.
Right. We made
So
it through. Amen.
yeah, we made it through. We made it through. But it definitely it gave me a little bit of mental equity to be able to pour into my music and to
Mhm.
actually understand what it is that I'm trying to do for myself and for others. Um, and what I want to be as an artist, in this world. So
Yeah, because with being a background singer or background vocalist, if people don't know what BGVs or whatever it means, but being a artist and a background singer, do you feel like it's kind of hard to kind of pull yourself out of having to always be there for like your job is to be there for another artist to make another artist look good and to kind of pour into that artist to help their projects go and their music sound good and everything like that to where it's like whoa I don't even realize that I haven't even put that same attention to myself to put my
yeah,
own projects out. So do you
yeah.
think that that's something hard for BGV to kind of manage of like, okay, do I really want to be my own artist or just should I just stay comfortable of just singing behind and helping someone else?
Yeah, no, it definitely is a struggle in itself. It's kind of that situation we were talking about earlier, like, dang, like showing up to the 9 to 5, like, and being able to actually, like, decide if I want to do this thing, seriously or independently. It's the same concept, pouring into that artist and not focusing on yourself. And it can be a bit of a struggle because, the artist is the one who's paying your bills. The artist is the one who also is depending on you to make sure that you can still be paid. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Or still the show. So it can be difficult, but I'm fortunate that with the artists that I work with, between schedule and just who they are as people, I'm still able to find space to work on my stuff. I can take my setup on the road with me, on off
Hmm.
days, you
Hmm.
know, cram out some stuff or write, in between here and sessions and stuff like that. So I find different pockets, but it definitely can be a struggle.
Right. Because I can just only imagine because, like you said, because it's like, okay, my money coming in, but also I have to realize I'm an artist and I have something to bring to the table, something to bring to the world, and I have to make time for that as well. So, luckily, the pandemic gave you that time because now we got a project that we can play and that we
Yeah.
can
And
be introduced to
you
you.
find a routine. I think
Mhm.
when you start working with an artist, usually they have, a certain amount of songs or a certain show that's locked in. Once
Mhm.
you lock into the show, it's kind of like plug and play, at that point. Um, but if you're, somebody who's just not studying your music and you always have to be relearning stuff, now that's a whole different situation. Or you're juggling a whole bunch of artists and it's a whole bunch of music and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, you just make the best of your time.
Yeah. And so for that person that may be thinking about doing background music or feel like they want to put out their own because I do feel like sometimes there's probably especially in LA, sometimes you can get insecure a
Yeah.
little bit because there's so many talented people around you to where you almost feel like, well, it doesn't even make sense for me to put my own stuff out because
Yeah.
nobody want to hear me, nobody want to hear all of that, like, or I may not have a better voice than, this person, or it's just so many people out here. So why should I even try to put out my own things? Like, what encouragement or what would you say to that person that is struggling, maybe?
I would say for them to dive into themselves because, it's easy to say, yes, it is. Your voice is better. Your music is good. But sometimes it's true. Sometimes people aren't good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes people aren't good.
Hmm.
So I would say really spend some time with yourself and say, is this actually good stuff? Do I have a good voice? Do I have something to say and contribute with my art? Is that can some it's not that it's not good art. Can something come from this art good? And after that, if you decided in your head that yes, put it out. Why should you put it out? Because somebody needs to hear it. You're too busy being yourself to experience what it's like experiencing you. I will never know what it's like to experience Asian Marie
Mm.
because I'm too busy being Asian Marie.
Mm, that's
They
good.
will never understand what it's like to sit here and get invited to a podcast and actually have these conversations because she's too busy being the one conducting the podcast. No, you cannot rob people of their experience of you. You can't, and you shouldn't.
Good.
And the longer you hold onto
Get
that
that down.
gift,
Notes.
it cannot. You are robbing people. You are robbing them of something that they need, and heaven has given you something that they need. So it's like that story of the talents. Somebody had five, another had two, another had one. What are you gonna do with yours? You're just gonna let it sit in the sand because you only had a little bit of it, and
Hmm.
somebody else had five. That's sinful.
Right.
So if you have sat and you've asked yourself and answered yourself that am I good? And yes, I am good, and something that I have can give back to the world. Stop being selfish and give it to
Yeah.
me.
Stop being selfish. Oh, calling us out. Hold
Stop
on.
being selfish. Come give it to me.
Because
Because it's gonna be hard. I don't want to go through it. Stop being selfish. Come on.
right.
Come on.
Come on out of that. Come
Come
on.
on. Come on. I don't
But
know where that comes from,
I
Lord.
was just explaining to like one of my friends who's also an artist that I think that nowadays people, I guess I would love if people were more open to know that we don't have to go down the same route.
Yeah.
Like, just because like I can sing good doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be Beyonce. It doesn't mean that I like just because I can, or I do background music or I do, the back like every artist is thousands of people behind them helping them get to where they are. So
Yeah.
you don't have to feel like everybody's not going to be the star. And I think that is what I feel that a lot of us need to just come together to know. Like, not everybody is meant to be the person in the spotlight. Does not make you any less, but my gift, even if it's millions of singers in the world, but of course there's only certain people who can be Michael Jackson, who can be Beyonce, who can do all these things, but it doesn't make you less than because you wrote the song. Or
Exactly.
because people are not, you wrote the song, but you're not the person singing the song, or you produced the
Right.
song and you're not the person that's, up there singing it with them and like, hey, let's let y'all know I sing the song. Not
Yeah.
everybody's gonna be able to do the same thing. So
Yeah.
even if you are praying like, hey God, am I supposed to be the artist and everything? Be open to knowing that his answer may be you may have to be something else that helps the artist, or you may
Yeah.
have to be a producer, or you may have to be, the director, or assistant directors. People don't even want to assist anymore. Or like if I get in touch with Asia and like I'm not like you said, I'm not meant to be Asia, but that doesn't make me less than because I helped Asia.
Absolutely
You know what I'm
not.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think you know what needs to be done a little bit more Because you even saying that, just speaks, to me.
Mm,
Is we, as entities and as artists need to really spotlight those positions more because those are very vital roles. A lot of these artists wouldn't be who they are without their team, flat out.
mm,
You took away the record deal, if you took away the marketing, if you took away the glam, if you took away the resources, the brand deals, they would be nothing.
mm,
It would be nothing. You know what I'm saying? Still very talented people, but they'd get lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And I feel like once those positions are really highlighted and explained in detail as to what they do, and the awareness of it comes about, that's when value starts to come about.
Mm,
So I want, people to, when they think about that, like, I want to be the Beyonce. Do you want to be the Beyonce? What comes with the Beyonce?
right.
What
Because if
comes
you talk
with
to
that?
Beyonce, she probably doesn't want to be
She
Beyonce.
probably don't want to be Beyonce. She probably misses not being Beyonce. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like, you got to think about what really comes with that. Do I really want to be a background vocalist? Do I really want to, am I a person like, yes, being a personal assistant of somebody gets me the access, but do I even assist people on my regular day basis? Do you even assist? You- Do you help anybody? You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Whatever your role is, it is important. It is important. But I think if we all brought a little bit more value to different things, like go study what the lights person does. They're very, very vital with this show.
mm,
Security person over there for the venue. Figure out what they do. Everything
mm.
is value everywhere. And
Value everywhere.
yeah.
Another note. There's value, and you're needed, and your purpose is
Gosh, you are
needed.
needed.
Mm,
Needed. You can feel like 9 times out of 10, when y'all go to a concert and you see some of these artists coming out 2 and 3 hours late, sometimes the artists are just jerks. But other times, some stuff just goes wrong.
mm,
Beyonce let y'all see it in the movie when a
mm,
part in her show went wrong. Like, okay,
mm.
if something goes wrong, you can even see it with Beyonce. Okay, every bit of it is important. Every
Every
bit,
bit.
every bit.
Yes, amen to that. We agree in that. So going back to your project, so you put the project out and you said it was scary, but you did it anyway. So I see the hat, like the hat that you take when you're live. When you're live, you'll see her hat, you see your attire. So where does all of that come from? Like what is that meaning of all of that?
So, um, I really have always been in love with Willy Wonka and the Mad Hatter,
Mm,
um, and characters like the Riddler and stuff like that. I've always been into just kind of like the demented characters in like movies,
mhm,
you know? And I really kind of feel like that's where my mind is musically sometimes. I'm kind of a little mad a little bit. Stuff is just there's a lot of tension and stuff that I hear. I play with chromaticism a lot.
mm,
Um, and then I just really love the thing that happens to the body, like physiologically, like when somebody hears, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Get out of here." Oh my God.
mm.
Did it kick me out the meeting?
No, here.
Oh, I got a
Mm,
call. I don't know where you went to.
mm.
I don't know where you went. But anyway, um, what was I saying?
The Mad Hatter and
Mad Hatter, yes.
mm,
I really kind of feel like that's who I am as an artist. Um, and that's kind of what I wanted people to see, like when they see me not really understanding what they're gonna get, and that's kind of the point. Like,
mhm. Because
I
you
want,
just don't know. I literally was trying to figure out a word to describe seeing you live, and I was like, it's just electric. Like it's like almost like if you're sitting down, you're not going to be sitting down by the end because you go through so many emotions and you can literally feel from just every being of anything that comes out of your mouth, your body language, everything that you mean what you sing about. And I think that that's missing in a lot of artists nowadays. It's just like, where's the feeling? Where's the passion? Where's the if you're like you said, if you're mad, I'm like, I want to hear that in your voice. I want to feel like, well, shoot, I'm mad too. Who did it? I want to feel like that by the end of the song. And when I see you live, I was just like, oh my goodness. I'm like, it's like a not a bad like it's almost like a siren, and that's how I see it. And I don't want to get too spiritual, but
No,
that's how I feel. It's like a siren, like a something where everybody is just stopping, like, who is this person? And
yeah.
you arrange everything. So has it always been like that, or just as developing and finding your sound, you like, this is what I want to sound like?
Yeah, I've always really my favorite instrument is a trumpet.
Mm,
So when it comes to like the siren and I really kind of sometimes frame my voice like a horn or
yeah.
like, I want it to pierce. So
Hmm.
that's always kind of the thing that I've gone after. But somebody who really kind of influenced that sound, rest his soul, is Thomas Clay.
Hmm.
And there's this one clip of Thomas Clay, and he's at this church. He goes, I've always imagined when that trumpet blows, what would it sound
Hmm.
like? What I know. That clip, like he did this thing with this vocoder and he just emulated what the trumpet would sound like.
Hmm.
And that I tried to after that clip, I really have always just tried to do that with my voice. Like
Hmm.
make it like an announcement in itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And you
Like,
definitely do a good job of that.
thank you.
And I don't think
Just
I
screamed
think
it out.
every
I just screamed all the time as a kid growing up. I just
it's
figured
not
out how to
even a
make it work.
scream because especially being in church, somebody is just and somebody just howling. It's just like you're
Oh,
hollering, and I
baby,
need you
you're
to
hollering, and
follow.
I need you to.
I need you to come down just go ahead and clock out for me, please. Stop hollering on this mic. But it's not the same. I just like that I can feel what you're speaking about, or I can feel what you're singing about. So always just know that we all feeling it. We all feeling it. Whatever you
And I'm glad that you guys are feeling it because
because
I mean,
I'm
very glad if you didn't feel it.
feeling it. So now after that project, are we gonna get new projects, new music? What's happening with that? What's going on?
We are in the process of new music, creating.
Yay!
You will be seeing some stuff pretty soon. So tune
Yes.
in,
Yes. Tune in
tune
and
in,
we'll
guys.
post and we'll support. Make sure y'all stream whatever she got going on. I'll put all of her information down below and on the video somewhere. Y'all go see it. But y'all need to follow her. And
Mhm.
I see you just also opened up for you sing for, I don't I'm sorry if I say her name wrong, Andra Day.
Yes, Andrew Day. Yes,
Yes, Andra
yes.
Day. And you sing for Patty, first of all. Patty! Like,
Yes, ma'am. I see
what?
the
And
godmother of soul
sing
herself.
down, all of y'all,
Thank,
sing down behind
thank you.
Patty.
Thank you.
And so, how has that been like just traveling one with the legend over here? And then you have Andrea Day over here just singing at the Hollywood Bowl, opening up for her. Like, how is this all feeling? Is it overwhelming? Is it like, wow, finally, it's my moment? I'm finally just living in it. How are you feeling?
It is, it's surreal. It's kind
Mhm.
of like, I feel like I'm in a space of, I asked the Lord what I wanted, and He's like, here,
Mhm.
now
Mhm.
what? But it definitely feels like everything that I've been striving for is starting to pay off for real. I feel like
Mhm.
I'm starting to make some traction and get somewhere, and pushing forward in the ultimate goal for myself. It's always very surreal when I'm in the room with Miss Patty, always very surreal when I'm in the room with Andra, Andra's like the homegirl. She's like my big sis.
Mhm.
It's really easy with her. It's very easy with Miss Patty too, but it's really still kind of shocking sometimes being around Miss Patty because it's like,
Mhm.
ma'am, you're Patty LaBelle. Do you not know that? Do you know
Ma'am,
that?
ma'am, please.
Ma'am, do you know who you are? Wait. But yeah, no, it's great. It's great.
So, how was the conversation of you opening for? for Andrea Day. So how did that go? How we get
You
here?
know, Andra, surprised me and, let me know early on that she's listened to my music, and she's a fan of my music.
Mm.
I just appreciate her. And she really loves Dreamer,
I
particularly.
love that song.
She loves Dreamer. So, we kind of just, talked back and forth about it, but not, really putting stuff into play. And then we were
Mm.
at rehearsal for her show at the El Rey. And I heard her mention something about an opener, and I was like, "Oh, who you having open?" And she looked up, she was like, "You." Like,
Well.
okay, all right, let's do this thing.
Mhm.
And that's just how it went.
Yeah. How did it feel? Finally, like, okay, opening. Like, wow.
That was one of the most high pressure gigs I've ever had in my life. But it was so much fun. Again, I was petrified. The night before I had a rehearsal, and I was on my way to rehearsal just sobbing, just
Mm,
booing. Um, but the next day I woke up with just this overwhelming sense of peace. Like, I got this.
mhm,
It wasn't the question became, went from being will I do well to will I steward well what's coming next,
mm,
you know? Um, so I got up there and it just felt easy. Of course, at first it's a little nervous, like, it's a whole room. These people don't know who you are. They don't know a piece of your music. You got this top hat on. But no, it was great. I'm still floating.
So every time, so a lot of time when you perform, so you're saying you still get stage fright.
Oh God. Yes.
So how you get over your stage fright? Because my stage fright, uh, child, that's why I say I can't do it because like I'm one of those people who get scared and I'm used to singing in the choir. So I remember I had an audition for an artist. I won't say the artist. And it was my first audition. So when I get nervous, I shake. My voice
Uh-huh.
shakes.
Uh-huh.
So I over sing to trying to get
Up
over.
the
So
shaking.
now I'm what? And the audition where they like, hey, it's the song, it's just it's straight. And I'm like, well, I like I'm overthinking because I'm nervous. So how do you get over your stage fright?
Just realizing that what I'm feeling is just energy. It's
Mm,
just people. I'm literally feeling the excitement of the crowd. And I'm excited myself as well to be here.
mm,
Yes, it's a little scary, but ultimately what I'm feeling is just people. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a very real thing. People try to, make energy and, talk about it in a way that, seems spooky, but
mm,
you can feel when somebody has an attitude on them, or you can
mm,
feel when somebody's really happy. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing, the energy.
mm,
And then the other thing is where I kind of get my nerves off, um, is when you see me kind of like really talking to the audience, like, and not letting up, like that's me talking to myself in the mirror. I
mm,
don't see them, I see me. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? Um, and then eventually, a crowd ain't gonna sit on you for too long. Eventually they'll give you a clap, and then I'll get out of there. And then once
mm.
I get a little bit of that, all I gotta do is be myself now. That's it. And if you don't like me, okay, that's
Right.
okay. I'm still now that I know you're not really here for me, I'm just gonna use this as a practice for myself. And I'm about
Oh.
to rehearse in front of all y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. It definitely has helped singing behind Patty. It has helped singing behind Andrew and getting that experience anyway. But yeah, girl, it's just I'd be decided up in my mind. Okay, well, this isn't the audience for me tonight. That's okay. I don't say nothing to myself. Is it a little embarrassing sometimes? Yeah.
Perhaps. But I'm guaranteeing it's at least two people that was in there that's like,
That was feeling it.
yes, like, let
They
me go.
was just in the back by the bar. They was in the bathroom on the toilet, like, yeah, I like it. It's good for me. I
Right.
remember her name. I remember the opener. Okay.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Let me go follow her. Let me go.
Yeah, there's
Guarantee it was a couple of people, a
there's
handful.
always silent fans too.
Hmm.
I think one thing, especially like I said, I was a worship leader. So one thing that I learned, especially leading worship at, white churches,
Hmm.
predominant white churches, is that their worship is not at all the same as us. So like church, sometimes even black church, we be real,
Yeah, just a little
but they be
reserved.
right here having a great time, a phenomenal time. Okay, you can you can never judge a book by its cover for real.
Mhm.
Just people can look like they're having a miserable time, but maybe somebody's just frowned up because they're trying to figure out where the hell you got that jacket from, and they love it on you. Great, you only saw a moment, a face in there, for a moment of the show. You know,
Right.
somebody else may actually have a booger up their booty, but whatever.
Look, well, you were there too. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Correct, because at the end of the day, guess who got the call? You did.
Right. Right. Look, and amen, and thank you to that.
Correct.
So, so with your son, like, is he into music? Is he into it
Um,
all? Just
You
so.
know, my son loves good music.
Mhm.
He knows good music. He pulled out something on me the other day. I said, "How you know about that?" And I love that. But my son does not want to be a singer or an instrumentalist, and that's okay.
Okay, yeah.
He is an artsy kid. He is
Mm.
working on his fashion line.
Okay.
You got
We'll take that.
Yes,
We'll do
we'll take that.
that. Yeah.
We love an entrepreneur at 15.
Yes.
So his clothing line is coming out soon. I can't reveal the name or anything of it yet.
Mm. So we looking forward to that too. So we got new
Looking forward
music,
to that.
we got apparel that may be coming. I can help you with you. Give us Asia Marie merch. Give
Yes, it will
us.
be it will be launched through my son's clothing line. Thank you.
Yes, like
Yes,
we
absolutely.
it all matters. It's all connected.
Absolutely.
It's all
Absolutely.
purposeful.
Every bit of it.
Yes, and we looking forward, and I'll be one of the people that'll be first purchasing. So
Thank
let him know we're
you.
ready. We need all of the things, and we
Tell
love
me
you.
so good.
If you never heard it, know today that we love you here. I love you. Your gift is amazing. You are touching everybody around the world now, which I love. And every time I get to text you, call you, I'm gonna call you, let you know that you're doing a good job, that I'm proud of you, that what you're doing is not being seen, that
Thank
we do see you, we do hear you, and we do appreciate you, and we hope that you feel the love because you deserve all of that. You deserve everything good, everything great. And the Lord is going to continue to keep blessing you in Jesus' name. Oh,
you.
I'm But
Thank you.
I love you, and I just thank you again for coming and talking to us, speaking with us, letting us get to know you because you're just simply amazing.
Thank you. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you for having me. Thank
Yeah.
you for supporting me. I've always felt the love, even from
Yeah.
when you had your birthday in your backyard. Okay.
Yes.
I
Yes.
just so appreciate you.
Yeah, I have to post clips of that too when I post when you were singing because people still to this day are like, I'm still surprised that like none of my neighbors was like, excuse me, are you having a whole like concert in your backyard?
Girl, you had the
But
singers, singers of singers back there
I
that night.
mean, that night is something I'll just never forget. And from there, that's why I'm like, I just had to have you because I'm like, oh, these are my favorite people. It even was people on their patios. If you didn't see, it was people on their patios sitting on their chairs. Like, so
Okay.
this is just a whole festival happening right now.
Okay, yes, enjoy.
Like,
Pour your
they said,
cocktail.
actually,
Uh-huh.
let me go ahead. And that's probably why they didn't call the police because they're like, actually, this sounds good in this backyard. Let me
I
just
like it. No, it's fine. They can keep going.
let me go ahead. But people still be like, man, that girl that was singing at your party, and that was what, 4 years ago?
That was a
Like people
minute
still
ago.
remember again, that's that siren, that's that electric energy. You don't forget it, I'm telling you. But I just bless you on everything that you got moving forward. We're looking forward to the music. Anytime you want to come back, you want to talk, you want to promote, just know you always have a place here and that we love you on the Be Unique podcast.
Correct. Thank you for having me.
Love you. And I'll put all of her information below with Instagram.
Check it
You
out.
Facebook? You have Facebook?
I do. I have
Yes.
Facebook. I'm just Asia Grant on there, but I have an Asia Marie artist page on there as well.
Okay, so I'll put all of that below. I'll put it all in. So make sure you go follow. Make sure you blow her pages up. Blow them up. Listen to her music. Stream. And if you see that she's going to be in your city, please go out and support her and go watch and listen to the songs before so you can sing along. Don't be that person in the bathroom on the toilet. You can nod your head, but we want you in the crowd.
I mean, it's like, just wait.
We want you.
I'm done. I'll be done.
We
I'll
want
be done
you.
soon. I'll be done soon. You can get back to it, but I need you to come outside and boogie down with me real quick.
Right,
Thanks.
right. We want you in the front. So make sure you listen to that music and make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you like this photo. Make sure you like this video, share
Support
it.
the podcast. Support the podcast.
Yes,
Support the podcast.
please. And I'll have
Share it with your friends.
more episodes. Yes, support your friends. Any way you can support your friends and check on them all the
Yeah.
time. Check on them because you never know what people are going through. I love you. And this completes our episode. I love you guys. Make sure you come back for the next episode of Be Unique Podcast. Peace out.
Be unique.